Kevin, thank you so much. Not just linebackers coach, but recruiting coordinator as well. So extremely busy day for you, Coach. Let's start, though, talking about the guy that they just broke down, Malik Jefferson. What does he mean overall to this class as far as what he means potentially on the field and the way it came together as well?
Well, first off, we think he's an outstanding football player. He comes from a great family, great high school program. We got a chance to really get to know his family during the recruitment process, and he comes from, unbelievable parents, and we think he can be, a great ambassador to the program. The thing that was big, when Malik decided to, commit to the University of Texas, especially him being a mid-year kid, he was probably the first really highly publicized kid in state that really decided that he wanted to come and come to Texas and play football for Coach Strong in the program. And we felt like we were gaining momentum in recruiting, and he helped really put us over the top, and made some other guys in state really open their eyes and really give us a chance to get in their living rooms, because Malik gave his word that he was going to come play here.
And we talk about this day as far as what happens leading up to it, but I know it's so important what happens once it's done. And with a guy like Malik, he's already here. Yes. He's already working out. What has he shown you about the type of player and person he is by the way he's conducted his business since arriving on campus?
I've only seen a little bit of what he's done since he's been on campus. Obviously we've been on the road for about the last 14 days recruiting, but I've been able to stay in touch with him through text messages and phone calls, making sure he didn't get lost his first day of class, and of course make sure Coach Moore didn't kill him the first day in the weight room.
Yeah, easy, right off the bat. A little bit.
Yeah, but he's adjusted well. He's a very mature young man, and he kind of knew what he was stepping into, and that's why he took the challenge to become a mid-year, graduate and come into the program, in the spring semester, because he wants to be able to compete for playing time, in the fall. So he kind of knew what he was walking into. Still a little sore from Coach Moore's workouts,
sure.
But, he's prepared for it.
Now, shifting to your role as a coach, you guys came in here and basically inherited a group of players. Yeah. Is there a difference coaching players you inherited to coaching players that you actually recruit and brought in yourself?
Of course there is. When you inherit anything, there's a getting to know you phase. There's a certain trust factor that they don't have for us, and vice versa for them. And we had to build that with the guys that were here, because they didn't know us. Most of us, because of where we came from, didn't recruit a lot of guys that were on the team here. So it took a little while to build the trust factor. Whereas if you recruited a young man and you're in his school, you've talked to his coaches, you've been in his living room, you get to meet the parents, get to meet the girlfriends, you get to know a lot about them. Obviously, it's a lot easier when they get on campus, where they have a little bit of a trust factor with you, and they kind of understand what their expectations are.
So is it a situation where you see something that's rare, but because of the connection that these young players have with you, that they can actually be leaders as freshmen?
Yes. And when we talk to them, we're very frank with them and tell them that we're not recruiting them to come in and it's going to be a 2 or 3 year process. We're recruiting them to come in and compete immediately. And I think that's the fun part about it, because we had a lot of young men that decide to take on that challenge, because they know it's not going to be a gradual process, that they're going to have an opportunity to come in and play very, very early.
For you and this staff, why is it important to be as authentic and real as you can be when you're out and you're visiting these families and these prospects?
I think you have to be, because if you're not going to be truthful with them, there's going to come a point in time you're going to get called out on the carpet. And if you promise certain things to young men, or if you're not going to be who you are when you're out there on the field and you're yelling and screaming, and there's the first time they get it is when they're here, that could be, cause a little tension and a little friction in the relationship. But everybody that's obviously watched the program this past year, they understand what Coach Strong is about with his core values, and he's going to build the program on toughness. So when we go into those homes and high schools, the kids are telling us about the core values, and they understand that Coach Strong's a no-nonsense coach, so that helps.
Well, you talk about the foundation and the core to what you guys had at Louisville, and you were there day one with Coach Strong.
Yes.
We talk about the importance of that first full recruiting class. We mentioned it earlier in the show. It was ranked number 22 and the top 25 classes, we know that's not that big of a deal.
Yes.
But you look at what that class did.
Yes.
And once Devontae Parker goes, if he goes in the first round like it's projected, that's going to be 3 first-round picks, and not including a Thorpe Award winner.
Yes.
Why was that group so important to what you guys did at Louisville?
I think it's you know, you don't want to put pressure on the class that we just you know, completing today, but I think it's very, very similar because they saw a program that they knew was getting ready to really ascend and you know, and work its way into the national ranks. And it's the same thing. They saw opportunity to play early, and there was young men that were very mature and ready to come in and play early and took on that challenge. And I think, like I said, not to put pressure on the guys that are coming in August and the ones that are already on campus, but I think they see the same things, that there's a chance to be a part of something special. And a lot of those guys at Louisville weren't as highly ranked as some of these guys, but I think in their minds they thought they were as good, and that's the most important thing. They thought they could go out there and play against anybody in the country, and they could beat anybody in the country. And I think we're bringing like-minded kids in for this recruiting class.
Yeah, so right now, according to ESPN, you guys are ranked number 7 with this recruiting class. From this bunch, who do you think is the most underrated player?
Oh, wow. I would probably say I think we have a lot of really good players. I think we did an outstanding job of evaluating everybody from, you know, A to Z. So we think every kid we sign has got a chance to come in and help us and, you know, possibly be a starter. We didn't recruit a young man to come in here and be a backup. That was the big thing. We wanted to get guys that we felt like could come in and be part of the first 22, and if they weren't, they could push the guy in front of them, and that's how we felt like you could build a great team. If I had to pick one, I'll pick one from my group. I would pick Brecken Hager, you know, a legacy here. I heard you guys speaking of him earlier. I think he comes from an outstanding program, and I think he's got a chance to, you know, really be an outstanding player here. He understands what it means to be a Longhorn. His dad was a great player here, and I think he wants to come here and surpass his dad, so he's got a lot of motivation.
I got a hard-hitting question for you.
Yes, sir.
All right, was back in the football offices, saw the spread there, little Chick-fil-A,
yes.
Krispy Kreme donuts.
Yes.
How in the world did Coach Moore let that slide by his watch?
Yeah, well, you know what, Coach Moore, his watch ends downstairs. Up here, it's free reign when it comes to food. And, you know, we have coaches that come in all shapes and sizes. Some like the healthy, you know, Chick-fil-A, and some of them, they're going to eat their donuts now. You're not going to be able to keep that from them.
Love it. Well, congratulations on
you.
This great class that's coming together, and hopefully you guys get a little bit of rest before you start grinding once again. So, Coach, we really do appreciate it.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for having me.